Hi everybody, what's up? Welcome to your favorite YouTube channel, and today we have got a pretty exciting video for you guys. As you might have already guessed in the title, it is video streaming using Node.js. And to begin with, lately I have not been getting a lot of time for YouTube videos, but today, as a popular demand, I have taken up this topic and let's start the video. First of all, let us understand what is streaming. Actually, streaming is the continuous transmission of audio or video files from a server to a client. With streaming, the media file is stored remotely and is transmitted a few seconds at a time over the internet. As you can see, as an example, we have YouTube and Netflix. They have a very huge size of movies that they are storing on their servers, and we stream it on our clients. So basically, this is streaming. And what is the difference between streaming versus downloading? The major difference is streaming is real time and more efficient. And how is it more efficient? Because it can start playing immediately, while if you are downloading, you have to download the entire file before you can play it. And also, streaming does not require storing the videos locally, while downloading, first you require a storage. Say if you have a file of 4 GB or 5 GB movie, so you need storage before you can play it. And to understand how streaming is done, as you can see, we have a video file which is of large size, and we can divide it we can into chunks, and one chunk is sent to the client, and the client starts playing the video, and as you watch that scene, the next scenes are cut from the video file and sent in chunks to the client. As the diagram you can see of one live stream, of which there is a buffer of chunks, say 4 chunks, and they are sent to the client. As soon as the client has seen, say, 1 or 2 chunks, it is continuously being piped here and here. So live streaming is happening. Okay, so this is a quote from an expert. So let's follow. Okay, so here we have the source code. So as you might be familiar with, we have a basic Node.js server setup using Express module. So we have a route which for get for slash we send an index.html page, and we have a slash video which we will see later, and we have the server listening on port 8000. So first of all, let me show you how the app runs, then we will look at this code and index.html file. Also, I have stored a video file over here to be streamed. So let us start the server. Alrighty. Okay, so here we have the video file which is playing from which is streaming from our server to the client. You can see, and when we refresh we can see again. Okay, so it is working nice. So now let us understand the code. Now this is a simple route which sends an index.html page, and in this we have a lot of logic running. When we get slash video, we send the client sends a range. By default this is 0 to 1 for browsers, so it is in request.headers. If there is no range, we send an error. Now what we do, we have a video path which is the name of this file, and we use the fs module to calculate the size of this file. Say this is about 11 MB. Okay, so we have the size of the file. Now from the headers we have this range. Now the range value will be something like this. Now the chunk size depends on how you implement it, but for simple purposes we are setting at 500 KB chunks. So basically we are splitting the 11 MB file into 500 KB chunks. Now start will be, this is basically what this is doing is, from this variable we are removing all the characters except numbers. So this will convert to this much bytes. This is our starting byte. Say for instance, initially it will be 0, and for ending we are doing start plus chunk size, that is this value plus 500 or 5000 bytes, or if it is the end of the video, then video size minus 1. Now we can similarly calculate the content length. This is for the headers that will send to the client back. So basically the client will keep track of this header and use it to request for the next frame. Say for example, I send him the first 500 frames. So in the next request he will ask for the next frame, the next in the line. Now we use HTTP status 206 for partial content. Now we use the features of Node.js, which is creating a read stream from the file. So basically we are passing the video path, which is here, and the starting and the ending bytes, which we calculated earlier. So this is the main. So we are reading only a chunk of a file in our stream. And now using pipes, we pipe the stream as a response to the client. So that is for the video. Now how this is used in an HTML file. This is a basic HTML page with some CSS. You can ignore if you don't want styling and all. The main logic is this. HTML5 provides us video tags, which makes it easy to use video, to use a default video player, and we can set controls, muted, autoplay and other settings, and in the source we give the route, that is /video, and type as video/mp4. Now all the requesting it will do automatically. When it says /video, the request will hit here with the range of 0 to 1, and using that range we will calculate the start and end. So initially start will be 0 and so on, we will continue the process. Now let us see the output on the server. As you see, the streaming was happening. Initially our range was bytes 0 and the file size was this much bytes, and we sent the 0 to 5000 bytes, that is 500 KB. And for the next request, these are the headers. The next range requested is from 5001. So we send this chunk, and the next request is bytes this and 2. Okay, so this is how the streaming is happening. So I hope I explained it correctly, and if you liked and enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more exclusive content, and give your suggestions in the comment box down below. Till then, take care, bye.